Hello guys, it's me, King Mamzi, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a retrospective on one of my all-time favorite games of all time, Sonic Generations. This game is truly special to me in a lot of ways for many different reasons, and one of the sole reasons why I love the Sonic franchise as much as I do, despite its many shortcomings. As I'm recording this video, it is officially the day before this game's 10-year anniversary. But I decided that I would have this video be released on the channel 2 days after its official release, because while it officially came out on the 1st of November, that was only in Japan. It didn't come out in the UK until 3 days after. But despite all that though, I was able to play and beat the game in one sitting at the old HMV store that used to be on the bottom floor of the Manchester Arndale the day before it got officially released on store shelves here in the UK. But before I get into any of that, let me take you guys a couple of years back into the past. Now I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys. As a kid, I didn't grow up playing too many video games, nor did I have too many game consoles due to the strict household that I grew up in. In fact, the only handheld game console I ever owned was the 3DS. So before I ever got my hands on Generations, the only system I owned prior to that was the PlayStation 2, but that thing was unfortunately broken down for about 2 years, so I pretty much couldn't play any video games from 2009 to around 2011. But despite that though, I was still a pretty big Sonic fan through and through, so I still kept drawing the characters, playing the Flash games, rewatching Sonic X, and trying to keep up to date on all the latest Sonic news. Also, I remember watching all the cutscenes of Sonic Colors on a teacher's computer after school once, even though I wasn't allowed to because I couldn't play the game itself due to not having a Wii. That was fun. But several months after the release of Colors, I noticed rumors of a new Sonic anniversary game around early to mid 2010 through either the Wikipedia site or the Sonic Wiki site. I don't remember which one it was, but it was definitely one of the two. I remember even a page being made for it before it was officially announced as Generations. It was called Sonic 25th Anniversary, and I don't know why, but for some odd reason I really wanted the game to be called Sonic 20th Anniversary. I can't explain why, but I really wanted it to be the official name of the game. But anyways, later on I discovered that the game would be about Sonic and his younger self traveling through remakes of older levels, and I also remember seeing this very image that you're all seeing on screen right now, and I remember being absolutely shocked and hyped at what I saw. Classic Sonic being brought into a 3D game alongside his older, more modern and sleeker looking counterpart was something that my 13-year-old mind at the time could not comprehend one bit, especially since I'm someone who grew up with both classic and modern Sonic equally through both the games and cartoons. Seeing something like that for the first time ever was just absolutely hype. And then as the months went by, I watched all the trailers, but there was a downside though. I still didn't have a PC, 360 or PS3 to play the game on, but luckily my mom let me travel to Amsterdam to go visit my dad during Christmas that year, and he asked if I wanted anything as a gift for my birthday, which was also very close to Christmas as my birthday is in December. Obviously I asked for a Xbox 360, not because it was technically the better system, because to be honest it was. I asked him because I wanted the Kinect and Sonic Free Riders, which was exclusive on the 360 due to the Kinect, and it worked out well in the end, because like I said, the 360 was the better system than the PlayStation 3, but oh my god, Free Riders was an absolute garbage game. But anyways, back to Generations. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I played Generations at the time of its release, but didn't really own the game itself until I bought a copy before my trip to Amsterdam to visit my dad and get my hands on the Xbox 360, which believe it or not was my second video game system after the PS2. I beat the game a second time as soon as I got my hands on the 360, and when I say that I absolutely loved Generations back then,
Oh, I love love it.
Seriously, I loved this game back then, and I also loved 100%ing it back on the 360 while getting all the achievements for the game as well, and it was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. But then later on, as the years went by, I naturally started to drift away from the game and move on to playing other Sonic and other non-Sonic games, and I didn't play the game again until I think around either 2020 or 2019, but to be honest I don't really remember since it's been a while. But a year or two before that I did play the game on the PlayStation 4 through PlayStation Now, and it was torture. But once I was able to get my hands on a gaming laptop and play gens again, it all just went uphill from there, because not only did I get to re-experience one of my all-time favorite games again, but I also managed to get my hands on the best version of that game too, which to this very day still has one of the biggest and strongest mod communities going, which is honestly insane. But it also just goes to further show just how much the community really loves this game. I remember watching tons of Generations mod showcase videos from YouTube, especially from this one YouTuber that I used to love watching. He was one of my favorite YouTubers on the platform, but unfortunately he got caught up in some controversy and left YouTube a very long time ago. But regardless, seeing all the fun, exciting and unique mods that the community released for Generations on PC through YouTube was a great time. Heck, I even remember the PENIS mod being the first ever Generations mod that I got exposed to on YouTube. Yeah, that was a thing. Now obviously I can't say the actual word of the mod or showcase the mod itself in case YouTube take down this video, but if you know, you know it. But yeah, out of all the mods that I got to experience on that game so far, the Unleashed project is definitely my favorite mod for the game by far. Being able to play through the day stages without having to go through the Werehog stages or the terrible medal grinding feels amazing, and also the better controls, movement and frame rate makes the experience of playing through the day stages from Unleashed just that much more better as well, at least to me anyway. But with that all being said though, I do want to address one major criticism that this game faces and always has faced to discredit it as a whole ever since its official release, is that it's just a quick cash grab and that it's only good because it's based around nostalgia. Now don't get me wrong, no matter who we are, every single one of us has our own individual opinions at the end of the day, so if people share this very same opinion, then honestly more power to them. But I'm gonna explain why I don't think that this is even remotely true at all, and why the game honestly deserves more credit than that. For one, you've got to remember that Generations was made with the intention of being an anniversary game where you go through remakes of stages from 20 long years of the Blue Blur's history, an idea that was thought of by Izuka and not any of the greedy higher-ups at Sega. Not to mention that the stages that they used in Generations weren't just slapped in there with the same or even worse looking level design like you see in Sonic Forces. Like, yeah, there's, you know, obviously familiar level design patterns, but it's not the same level design, like exactly copied and paste from the levels that they're based on and they're remaking, but instead they were created with actual thought, extra care and detail, and a lot of them were arguably also massive improvements over their original counterparts. Now granted, there are arguably one or two exceptions like Planet Wisp and maybe even City Escape for example, but even then those levels were still very good. Yes, even more than Planet Wisp, which wasn't even that flawed if we're being honest. The only major problem with it is that it just overstayed its welcome a bit too much with the conveyor belts in the second half of the level. Also, the level design in both the classic and modern stages especially are still both excellent in terms of the multiple pathways you can take, along with the overall exploration, speed and platforming, with modern Seaside Hill being my overall favorite level in the game, partially due to nostalgia, not gonna lie, but also because I really loved playing the Seaside Hill levels in Sonic Heroes as a kid, and because it's the perfect example of how a good 3D Sonic level can be, while also mixing all of the core level design elements of what makes a good Sonic level, regardless of whether it's from a 2D or 3D game. Those four core elements being exploration, perfect enemy placement, speed and platforming, and this level has all of that and then some. Now as for my favorite classic level in the game, I'd probably say Sky Sanctuary, partially because of nostalgia, as Sonic and Knuckles was my favorite game as a kid and younger teenager growing up, and Sky Sanctuary was easily one of my favorite levels to play in that game, and the way they remade it in Generations with the awesome level design, the wonderful new pathways that you can take was nothing short of brilliant in my opinion. Also, the scenery and backgrounds of the level that showcase the other multiple pathways that you could potentially take in the game were cool as well. That's another thing that I really love about this game that I feel doesn't get enough deserved praise, and it's the way they made the 2D classic levels come to life in this game, unlike games such as Sonic 4 or the levels in Sonic Forces. The way the backgrounds stand out with the amount of stuff they'll have going on at times is really cool. The way the classic stages will take advantage of the 3D camera by adding cinematic flair, while it also telegraphs if a hazard or critical jump to a alternate pathway is coming along by panning towards the right or shifting to a diagonal 2.5D perspective is all very amazing and is a big part of what makes the classic stages in this game so incredible. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that this game is perfect or that it doesn't deserve to be criticized or that you can't like it either. I just wanted to give some insight on why I and many others think that it's a fantastic game and that it shouldn't be treated as any lesser just because it's based around nostalgia and old content. Nostalgia isn't a bad thing, it's about how it's handled and what you do with it, and Generations clearly did something really special with that 20-year nostalgia and made it into a near masterpiece of a package for me. Heck, I even enjoyed the game's story, which granted was extremely lacking, I'm not gonna lie. There definitely could have been way more to it, but I also think calling the story itself non-existent like most people have before is definitely a big stretch. If you ask me, like, there is a story here, but there's just not a lot going on within most of its cutscenes, so most people won't care or even acknowledge it, which is understandable. And while I say that I do enjoy the game's story, that obviously doesn't mean that I think that its story is as good or written well as the stories from the adventure games, Colors or Black Knight, nor is it that special from an in-depth or fundamental aspect like The Last of Us or God of War 2018's stories. I like it more so from an enjoyable and nostalgic standpoint, as I am someone who grew up loving both the classic and modern sides of Sonic. Like I said before, I honestly do think it has some really good moments in there, like the iconic mirror scene between both Sonics, Sonic's friend celebrating his birthday, modern Sonic showing off the homing attack to classic Sonic and then the loud wilding out at the sight of it, the plot twist with Eggman turning out to be the one who was controlling the timer alongside his younger handsome self, I thought was pretty cool as well, to be fair. And the ending cutscene, which was absolutely bittersweet for me. It's honestly my favorite part of the game's story and is probably my favorite ending cutscene to almost any Sonic game, period. Just seeing Sonic and his friends continue to celebrate his birthday after both him and his younger self had finished saving the day from the time eater, and then seeing classic Sonic trying to attempt the homing attack but failing, which was cute, and then finally the moment when they all had to say goodbye to each other. It was just so beautiful. But also another thing that I really love about this game that I just want to get out of the way real quickly is the game's boss fights. They're all super fun and very challenging to play, especially the hard mode versions of them too, and they're all made far better than their original counterparts as well, if you ask me, with maybe the exception of the Shadow boss fight. But overall, I'd argue they're easily the best bosses out of any 3D Sonic game, except the final boss though, that shit was mid, but the music for it slapped hella hard, so I'll give it that at least. But speaking of music, soundtrack in this game is still phenomenal, and I really don't need to say any more than that, because come on now, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, for crying out loud. Like, need I really say any more than that? But I will say that my favorite remix in this game though is defo the modern Crisis City remix. Now moving on to my personal issues with this game, or what I think that this game could have definitely done way better. For one, I really think that it could have done with some more stages from other games that weren't represented, such as Sonic CD, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic and the Secret Rings, even though that game is terrible, and even Sonic and the Black Knight, for example. Would have loved to see that, especially through potential DLC stages, which this game game was sorely lacking. I don't know, it just seemed very odd to me despite its, you know, massive success. But anyways, there's also a lack of variety in the game's stage themes. Like, we have literally 3 city levels in the game if we're counting Crisis City, but I won't be too hard on the game for that though, since the levels were decided via a poll by both the fans and Sega employees, so honestly it couldn't be helped anyway. Also, the ranking system being too easy is also a bit of a problem as well. The story as well not being as good as it could have been, like I mentioned earlier. Also, another few issues that I had with Generations was modern Super Sonic losing rings too fast while boosting, which just made him really unfun to play for me. Classic Sonic's physics not feeling quite as good as they did in the Genesis games, and also modern Sonic's jump feeling a bit jank at times during certain jumps. But to be honest, those last 2 complaints are kind of minor for me. They don't really hinder the gameplay experience too much. And besides that though, I don't really have too many complaints or issues when it comes to this game overall, nor do I really have much more to say about it. I played it 10 years ago for the first time, and I played it again nearly 10 years later. Is it perfect? No. Could it have been so much more? 1,000,000,000%. But for what it is, and for all the fond and wonderful memories that this game has brought to me within nearly the past decade up till now, I am honestly satisfied with the game that we got in the end. And to be honest, unpopular opinion, but I honestly don't even mind the short length of the game's story either. To me, quality and having a great time matters way more. Plus, 100%ing the game is no easy feat either, cause it can take several days to do that, whether you're relying on the help of YouTube videos or not. But regardless, the only thing I have left to say in regards to Generations is that it's what introduced me as well to actual YouTubers on the platform back in 2012, because before that I would only watch anime, cartoons, AMV, Sonic cutscenes and music videos when it came to YouTube before Generations. Before that I never watched actual people who made their own content, like, you know, KSI, PewDiePie, and also a lot of other people that you see today. But yeah, this game has done a lot more for me than probably any other game ever has. It has its flaws, it has its haters, it has its naysayers, but regardless, I will always hold it in high regard as one of the best Sonic games in the series, one of the best platforms of all time, and the best 3D Sonic game in the entire franchise. Happy 10-year anniversary Sonic Generations, and also happy 30-year anniversary to the Sonic the Hedgehog series in general. I love this guy. He may have his downs, but the ups are the reason why I'm still a fan today. And call me crazy, but I have a very good feeling about Sonic's future, especially in 2022, since we're going to be getting a brand new 3D game, which hopefully will be good. You know, please don't screw it up, Sonic team. Also, a collection of ported classic games with new features and widescreen for consoles and PC, a new movie sequel, and a new Netflix TV series. So I'm excited but also a bit skeptical at the same time, since this is Sonic after all. But regardless, I really hope that they all succeed and that we Sonic fans will have an incredible 2022. But with all that being said though guys, that pretty much does it for this Sonic Generations retrospective. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section down below. Also remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, or a dislike if you didn't. I'll do a retrospective on the entire series itself one day, but for now though, I just wanted to do Generations since it was officially the game's 10-year anniversary this month, and it would have been way less time consuming to make as well, not gonna lie. Also, just want to quickly apologize to my subscribers for the severe lack of videos lately. I have been trying to give the channel a brand new makeover, but also my new recent full-time job has honestly got me by the neck too, so yeah, there's that. But don't worry though, come 2022 that will all soon change and the consistent weekly uploads will come back. But regardless though, thank you guys for your continued support and patience. I honestly wanted to get 1,000 subscribers this year on the channel, but that's definitely not happening now. It's okay though, I'm not giving up, because I know for sure that if I don't get it this year, then I'll definitely get it in 2022, and if not not in 2022, then hopefully 2023. All I have to do is just continue to put out quality content on the channel like I've always tried and strived to do. But yeah, overall, thank you guys again for the continued support, and if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, then be sure to do so, and also hit that notification bell for more Sonic and other gaming related content if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys for watching. This is your boy King Mamzi signing out. Take care and peace.